Hello, my snarky sweethearts. Today we explore r/entitled people, where delusion's free, but dignity costs extra. Let's dive into the first one. I work as an engineer. I do some consulting on the side, but typically only for people I know and as a favor. A good friend asked me to help his in-laws who were doing some fairly massive renovations and additions. I agreed solely because he asked me to. This is not something I have any interest or need in doing except as a favor. It's an old house and had can of worms written all over it with some of the changes they wanted to do. Now, he warned me that the mother-in-law can be unpleasant, but that was an understatement. She seemed to think that because I was being paid, I charged probably 1/10 what a business would, that she could snap her fingers at me like a servant. I had a few unpleasant emails with her, but it was tolerable. She was rude when I was pointing out issues with their plans, but nothing too extreme. That changed when I started trying to find a time for me to stop by and inspect a few areas of the house to verify some information. I offered times to stop by on the weekend, but that did not work for her. Tried evening times, still a no. Nope, she wanted me to stop by during my office work hours because that was best for her. When I told her no, this gets done on the weekends or in the evening, she went from rude to incredibly hostile, telling me that she is paying me and that I work with her availability, not the other way around. I CC'd my friend in on the chain, told them I was out and to have fun working with whoever they get. Friend apologized. I said no worries, not my problem anymore. She emailed back, quite stunned that I was walking away, telling me that it is not how business is conducted. I did not bother responding. About 3 weeks later, I get an email from the husband now, asking me if I would reconsider, and he promises that his wife will not speak to me or be involved in any way. I hear from my friend that while the quotes came back much higher, which was tolerable for them, it was how long the wait was. They just bought this house and wanted to move in as soon as possible, but it is an incredibly busy time of year for the industry. Turns out, when companies you reach out to are drowning in work, and you have a potentially convoluted and messy project, they are not chomping at the bit to get your business. So now they are going to lose the trades they lined up because design would be a month or two out. I passed on the request as I struggle to believe she would be kept in check and had no desire to bail her out. My friend did not care, said it was nice watching her attitude give her consequences that actually affect her. I don't know who needs to hear this, but doing you a favor doesn't mean you get to treat me like trash. I've helped friends with little side gigs before, and the moment someone starts acting like they own my time, I'm out. So I totally get why OP walked away. Like, imagine snapping your fingers at an engineer who's charging you barely anything, then acting shocked when they peace out. I'd be stunned too. Stunned that someone thought that would actually work. What really got me was the husband coming back like, she promises not to speak to you. I mean, wow. If that's what it takes to get someone to work with you again, that says a lot. Honestly, I admire how calmly OP handled it. No drama, just firm boundaries. That kind of quiet confidence, chef's kiss. And the best part? The entitled attitude finally caught up with her. Delays, higher costs, and zero sympathy from anyone. Actions meet consequences like it always should. I think OP did the right thing. You can be helpful, you can be kind, but that doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. And speaking of people crossing lines, the next story takes main character energy to a whole new level because HR actually had to step in over a wedding invitation. Yeah, you're gonna wanna hear this one. This was honestly one of the weirdest work things I've ever dealt with. There's a woman in my office I'm friendly with, but not close to. We've had small talk here and there, nothing deep, no lunches together, no real outside of work connection. She found out I was getting married and asked when the wedding was. Then she straight up asked if she was invited. I kind of laughed and said, "Oh no, it's really small, just close friends and family." I didn't think anything of it. She got quiet and a little cold after that, but I figured, okay, maybe awkward moment, whatever. Fast forward a few days later, I get a meeting invite from HR. Turns out she filed a complaint saying I was being exclusive and creating a hostile environment by leaving people out because I didn't invite her to my wedding that I'm paying for, that isn't even work-related. So I had to sit in this HR meeting and explain that I'm not required to invite coworkers I barely know to my literal wedding, that it's a personal event, that it has nothing to do with work or who's in the office. HR honestly looked just as confused as I was. They basically said, "Yep, okay, thanks," and closed the case. But now she acts super passive-aggressive toward me, like side eyes, little digs when I walk by, still bringing it up in these weird sarcastic comments like, "Some people are so inclusive these days." I can't believe she actually thought HR could, make me invite her? Some people really do think they're the main character. I don't know what blows my mind more, that she asked to be invited to your wedding, or that she ran to HR when you said no. Like, I've had coworkers I barely knew before. We'd chat at the coffee machine, maybe exchange memes, but that doesn't mean we're dancing together at my reception. Weddings are expensive, emotional, and personal. I don't care how many shared Zoom calls we've been on. That doesn't earn anyone a seat next to grandma at the ceremony. The sarcastic jabs? Yeah, that's not excluded. That's just someone not being the center of attention and throwing a tantrum. And if you think that's entitled, wait until you hear about the next one, where an 11-year relationship ends in cheating and the ex still tries to make him pay her bills. It's a masterclass in audacity. Found out my girlfriend of 11 years was cheating on me with an unemployed dude of all people. I'm not rich, but I provided her a good lifestyle, paid most of her bills, provided a nice place, nails and hair done regularly, dates every weekend, couple vacations a year. She got used to that lifestyle and wanted to keep living it despite cheating with a broke dude. She didn't admit to the cheating. I caught on to it. Once it was clear I was done with her, the entitlement really started to show. She said that because I had family in the area and she didn't, I should move out but continue paying the bills to give her and the new guy a chance to get on their feet. She also insisted on keeping my dogs, told me I could only see my own dogs if I asked the new guy. But since they didn't have any money, I needed to continue paying for food and vet bills. Instead, I kicked her out and kept my dogs. At that point, she was angry and still felt entitled to my income. After I kicked her out of my place, she claimed she was forced to quit her job because I forced her to relocate. And then she tried to sue me for lost wages, which didn't work out in her favor. You'd think she'd stop at this point, but she didn't. She contacted my work and threatened to sue them, stating, "Your employees' actions cost me everything," and tried to insist they settle outside of court with her for $100,000. She didn't make that much money. Instead, my work filed harassment charges against her. You'd think she'd stop at that point, but she didn't. She started messaging every family member of mine that she could find, told them I cost her everything out of spite just because she moved on with someone else, and that the least they could do was send her money to help her get a place and pay rent. When that didn't work, she went online and begged for people to send money to her Cash App to help her with a place to live and claimed it was a domestic violence situation. I don't understand how she doesn't get that any financial support I gave her would end if she cheated on me. We weren't married. We don't have kids. I've supported her for years. I owe her nothing. I really don't owe it to her to help her and her new relationship get on their feet and establish themselves, which seems to come as a shock to her.
I need a minute to process this one because, wow. So let me get this straight. She cheats, lies about it, gets kicked out, and still thinks you should fund her new love story? With your money, your dogs, your house, the audacity is honestly Olympic level. Like, she's out here trying to collect alimony from a relationship that never even had a ring, then turns around and tries to sue your job? What is this, some lawsuit fantasy roleplay? And when that didn't work, she begged your family for cash? Like, you ruined her life by not paying for her and her unemployed boyfriend to play house. Girl, that's not a breakup, that's a full-blown delusional tour. Honestly, I think you handled it with class. You just said no. And saying no to manipulation isn't petty, it's self-respect. This one deserves a place in the Entitled Hall of Fame. For real. What do you think, Snarks? If someone cheats and still expects the perks, is that delusion or just plain greed? Spill the tea in the comments.
And that wraps up today's dose of Our Entitled People. Whew, some folks really think the world owes them everything, huh? If you enjoyed the madness, give this video a big thumbs up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you would have done. And hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and get ready for more outrageously entitled stories. See you in the next one. Bring popcorn.